I think so. South Park went in on LeBron last night as well, making fun of his comments post-China. Yeah, I think this is worse than the decision because I don't think that players around the NBA or even really most broadcasters tied to the NBA, they dealt with LeBron during the aftermath of the decision with kid gloves. There wasn't much of an attack. There wasn't much criticism. I think most people were just kind of excited about what he was going to do for the Heat. To see this kind of uniform media reaction and to see, and social media is in a different place than it was then in 2010, but all the memes I'm seeing, I think the fallout from this is worse than the fallout from the decision.
I think it's worse, but I don't want that to be a negative. I don't want that to land with a bad connotation. I had no reaction to the decision. It was a letter of intent show that raised $5 million at a Boys and Girls Club versus this, which is an international crisis of sort. So obviously this is going to be greater in that respect. So there's no comparison. But let's talk about why this is such an issue. And I love Mark Jackson for saying what I quote a lot, one of my favorite scriptures, be hot or be cold. Don't be lukewarm, in the middle. I'll spit you out my mouth. The reason why that comes into play, and I even said this a couple of days ago about LeBron in this situation, is he had an opportunity to either toe the company line, stay silent, relax. I was not pressed to hear from LeBron on this situation. And when I heard that he said something, my first thought wasn't what he said, is why is he saying something? And then, as Mark Jackson said eloquently, if you're going to say something, chips all in. And he didn't go company line and kept his chips, which I thought he should have. He went halfway through and didn't even go all the way in. And more importantly, start looking around the table to take shots at others. And that's where I think he got lost, right there in the middle of playing the woke card and playing the investment card. And he was, in that process, shown to be fraudulent because he didn't really apply himself to either one.
This is apples to oranges, right? When it comes to what LeBron said about China and Daryl Morey to the decision, apples to oranges. The decision was nothing, like you said before. I didn't think nothing of it. He's raised $5 million for Boys and Girls Club with a decision. That's nothing. This is more about human rights, right? So when he's explaining this, I think people really tore up the words and how he explained what was said by Daryl Morey. I think they tore that up in a way where he said, well, as far as the education, he's not educated enough. I don't think he meant intellectual education IQ. I think it was more so emotional IQ. So when Mark Jackson says this, you're either in or you're out, I'd rather deal with my backyard first before I go and deal with something else that I can't have no control over because it's a bigger elephant in the room when it comes to those certain situations. So I think people really tore up what LeBron says, like they always do what LeBron say. When LeBron does or says something, there are always going to be critics. Just like if it's any team or any person that's held at a high stature, when they start saying certain things that certain people don't agree with, there will be,
But Cutter, I just want to be clear that we can't dismiss the criticism of LeBron that's going on right now as like, oh, those are just haters. Because there are a lot of people that have supported LeBron, including Mark Jackson, including Doris Burke, who had something to say, including just about everybody that is like, man, this is odd. This is not what we expected. This doesn't meet our expectations. This wasn't handled in a savvy way. I think there's universal discomfort with how LeBron handled this, even from the people that defended him. And it certainly is apples to oranges in terms of the aftermath of the decision and the aftermath of this. The only thing, though, that is fair is like there was a level of backlash LeBron got for the decision and the way he handled his exit there. This backlash is just at such a higher level, and that's why, and I think it has a more, I don't know if play on the court is going to fix it because LeBron, during the decisions, like, he can just go out and ball, win a couple of titles, and he erases the decision. Short of winning a title this year, I don't know if you can really erase the blowback from this in terms of the way people are going to view him. When LeBron's never been in a lane where the Hollywood establishment takes a shot at you. And I know South Park kind of operates outside the Hollywood establishment.
Outside the box.
They are, but I could see Saturday Night Live spoofing LeBron. That's never been happened.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
And I don't think performance on the court is going to address this situation because this is something that people are taking personally.
Well, I think this is more of a back office, though, right?
Well, this look,
because other people, think about this. Their fans, if he does well, fans won't really care. It's the back office, the sponsors, the China, the big-time people. Those people really say things.
It depends
Not so much as a fan.
It depends on how you're a fan of LeBron. Like, LeBron had a carefully crafted persona. And it may have had origins in his true personality, but it also addressed outside the court issues. Mm-hmm. So when you're that careful with it, we expect you to not always address everything, but when you address something, to embrace it and address it with your authenticity. What came as disingenuous in this situation is that LeBron did not do that. In an attempt to play both sides, he played himself. And that's the difficult thing for a lot of people to swallow. I'm a LeBron apologist. I still say he's the GOAT. But that's in a basketball realm. When you want to talk about being greater, more than an athlete, if you're more than an athlete, this is not the moment to be less than who you were, LeBron, in all other situations.
I got another analogy that I wish I had thought of this before the show. This reminds me of Tiger Woods after Thanksgiving. And he had a carefully crafted image by Nike that he was more than an athlete. His father had helped sell that he was going to be a Gandhi-like figure. There was blah, blah. And then all of a sudden we found out, no, Tiger's just like a lot of dudes, a lot of people. And how many years was Tiger wavering? And it took him a long time to recover from that. And this is similar to me of what Tiger went through. And that's why yesterday I was arguing and I don't know if you weren't here. I think this could impact, the blowback from this could impact LeBron on the court as well. I think his play could be off this season because of the blowback from this.
I think that's very tricky, right? Because LeBron is in his 17th year, and he strained his groin. Yeah. So when you start getting older, as you know, Marcellus, as you guys know, we're athletes. As you know, that don't get better the older you get. So
could be a coincidence.
There you go. Yeah. So are we going to dictate what happened between China? If he gets hurt or if he slows down, he's in his 17th year. He's truthfully in his 21st year in the NBA years. So I'm not going to say that because if we start thinking and looking at that so much, that becomes the image. All I'm saying is for LeBron, whatever he says, being diplomatic, whatever it is that he said, we take, whether it's Mark or Doris Burke or whoever it is, yeah, okay, you may be disappointed. Okay, he leaning on his one side of this or whatever. That's your opinion. So he's just, if he say no comment, that's what people say. Oh, so you don't care?
No. But
whatever they would say, you never know what people say. LeBron has had the greatest
spotlight on him as an athlete and has succeeded and thrived under that spotlight more so than anybody else of his level, of his greatness. So he's used to criticism. What this one is different because the criticism actually hit home. Because immediately he tried to clarify this. If he had spoken correctly, he would have been like normal LeBron.
But what is correctly? But what is correctly?
Correctly is what you feel. It's not where it lands, it's how I threw it. I threw the right pass. If they dropped the ball because I can only say it, I can't make you understand it. LeBron tried to then change what he was saying.
Well, because people interpret things so wrong, especially when you text. If I text you something and you feel a certain type of way subconsciously to me, then you're going to say, "Damn, Cat, I told you I'm coming."
He said it on camera, though.
Right, but what I'm saying is, his apologies, right? So even if you say it on camera, the way you articulate it and the way a person feels that's receiving it is totally different.
Cat, he wasn't authentic.
Communication is communication until you can be able to comprehend. That's all I'm saying.
He wasn't authentic. There have been a million things that have occurred, and LeBron hasn't addressed them. Good job. And the few that he selects, he's done it at a remarkable level. But then there's this one where you chose to address it to show everyone, I am LeBron, I'm real. that guilt was kind of making him say, hey, LeBron, this is kind of in your realm. You talk about equality, human rights, and now this is a situation that you are involved. He didn't have to say a word. But if you're going to say a word, like Mark Jackson said, say it from your heart. If not, you're saying it from your pockets, and that's the balancing act he tried to equate.
And the reason I really love this Tiger Woods comparison, because that Thanksgiving deal with Tiger and his wife changed his image on a dime with the public perception. I think the same thing has happened here for LeBron. These guys with carefully crafted images by their sponsors, Nike and whatnot, it can blow up in your face. Yeah. We're all flawed. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.